Chapter 51 10 times critical hit reward. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiang Chen glanced at Gu Xiao. Princess, he said, I'll let you get some sleep. Good night. Gu Xiao still didn't dare to meet his eyes. Okay, she whispered, *creak*. The door closed behind him. Only then did Gu Xiao lift her head. Her cheeks were flushed. She stared at the porcelain bottle in her hand, a small smile playing on her lips. Meanwhile, back with Jiang Chen, he hadn't been out of Gu Xiao's room for long when the system chimed in. Ding. Congratulations. You gifted a 4th grade dragon blood pill, triggering a 10-fold critical strike reward. You've received a 4th grade Xianlong pill. Huh. Jiang Chen's eyebrows shot up. System, you sure about that? I gave away a 4th grade pill. Even with a 10-fold reward, it's still a 4th grade pill. Relax, host. The Xianlong pill is worth 10 dragon blood pills, and it contains real dragon blood, ordinary, but dragon blood nonetheless. It's a rare treasure. Besides, it's not just any 4th grade pill. Oh. Intrigued, Jiang Chen hurried back to his room, closing the door behind him. He summoned the pill the system had rewarded him. Jiang Chen, whoa. He stared at the Xianlong pill, his eyes narrowing in surprise. The surface was etched with intricate lines. As he held it, he could feel the ambient spiritual energy being drawn in, swirling around the pill. Cloud-like patterns began to form on its surface as the energy gathered. Pill patterns. No wonder the system said it wasn't ordinary. This is serious. If pill patterns appeared, the medicine's potency increased by at least 40%, and since this was a top-tier 4th-level elixir, its effects would be even more potent. He opened the system interface. Name, Xianlong pill. Attributes, refined with dragon blood, packed with energy and blood, strengthens the body and expands meridians. Jiang Chen grinned. Perfect. This should take care of the double pupil backlash. He steadied himself. Taking a deep breath, he swallowed the Xianlong pill in one gulp. Boom. Almost immediately, his blood began to surge. Hiss. An intense pain followed, sharp enough to make him gasp. Crack. His body was convulsing, bones creaking and groaning. Boom. He felt an overwhelming rush of energy and blood coursing through him. Thump. His body began to swell, his clothes strained. Rip. His clothes shredded, revealing muscles that seemed to be alive, pulsing and expanding. Jiang Chen channeled the chaos creation technique, working to refine the excess energy. The swelling gradually subsided. He also noticed his meridians had expanded by about a third. The relentless surge of power left him feeling invigorated. Jiang Chen, this is insane. My physical strength has at least doubled. I could use the world-destroying divine light now without any backlash. He realized his injuries were healed, and his strength had broken through to the 4th level of the divine sea realm. Boom. He poured all his energy into the chaos creation technique, drawing in true energy to replenish the depleted reserves in his 9 cyclones. Meanwhile, at the Yun family's main hall, Du Qingfeng occupied the head seat. Wang Ning and Yun Shixue sat beside him. Yun Qianqiu, the head of the family, sat in one of the elder seats. Bai Zhantang and Xiaolingshan were also present. The atmosphere was tense. Yun Qianqiu turned to Du Qingfeng. Elder Du, he said gravely, the Jiang family is out of control. Now that they're buddy-buddy with Prince Gu, they'll think they can get away with anything. The others chimed in, echoing his sentiments. Xiaolingshan, exactly. Those Jiang family punks have no respect for you. Elder Du. Bai Zhantang remained silent, his eyes burning with murderous intent. Silence descended again. Du Qingyun slowly set down his teacup. Dealing with the Jiang family isn't hard, he said, but Chen Hongchuan is sticking his nose in, and now Princess Xiao's involved. Until we know what's going on between the Jiangs and Prince Gu, we can't touch them. Yun Qianqiu and the others reluctantly nodded. Xiaolingshan spoke up. Elder Du, what if the Jiangs and Prince Gu aren't that close? Can we just take them out then? All eyes turned to Du Qingfeng. He shook his head. If the Jiangs hadn't joined Xuanqing Sect, that might work. But now, no way. Xuanhuan won't let anything happen to them. They're talented. Luoyun sect is strong, but I can't afford to have Xuanqing sect come after me if something goes wrong. Yun Qianxiu and the others fell silent. Wang Ning stood up. Actually, he said, I have an idea. Oh. Everyone looked at him expectantly. Wang Ning didn't hesitate. A month from now, there's the competition between the two sections. If we take out the Jiang brothers during the competition, problem solved. Xuanhuan is only helping the Jiangs because they have potential. A dead genius is worthless. Understanding dawned on everyone, their eyes gleamed with anticipation. Chapter 52 Preparations of All Parties. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Du Qinfeng agreed, adding softly, Wang Ning's right. It really is the best option right now. With Shishue's talent, she'll improve a ton in a month. Those Jiang family punks won't stand a chance. Yun Qianxiu and the others eagerly nodded, smiles finally breaking across their formerly grim faces. After chatting a bit, they slowly left the hall. Meanwhile, over at Ningxiang Tower in Divine Wind City, Fairy Shueiyue sat alone in her private room, with Xiao standing quietly by her side. On the table in front of them lay a piece of paper, containing Jiang Chenlang's poem. Fairy Shueiyue asked, Xiao, what do you think of these poems? Xiao paused, a thoughtful expression on her face. Finally, she replied, Mr. Jiang clearly has a gift for writing. I wouldn't dare to lie about that. Fairy Shueiyue chuckled, a smile gracing her face. She glanced up at the bright moon outside the window. Yes, such talent is rare indeed. I had my doubts when Mingyue first mentioned him. Looks like I was being short-sighted. She picked up a brush and began to write on the paper. Setting the brush down, she picked up the paper and turned to Qiao. Send this letter. Mingyue will be thrilled when she sees it. Qiao replied, of course, miss. As Qiao turned to leave, Fairy Shueiyue stopped her. Oh, and after you've sent the letter, start packing. It's about time we left Kamikaze City. Qiao acknowledged, understood. I'll get right on it. With a soft click, the door closed, and the room fell silent once more. Time flew by, and a day passed in the blink of an eye. Back at the Jiang mansion, Gu Xiao walked out of her room, a bright smile on her face. After refining the dragon blood pill the previous night, she'd fully recovered from her injuries and had even grown stronger. Just as she stepped out, an old man approached, her protector, Zhou Tong. He stopped short, a look of surprise washing over his face as he sensed Gu Xiao's aura. Not only had her strength increased, but her energy was also surging even more powerfully. She had changed so much. Unable to contain his curiosity, Zhou Tong asked, Miss, what's your level now? Gu Xiao smiled slightly. I had a breakthrough during my practice, so I've gotten stronger. Uncle Zhou, what brings you here so early? Is something wrong? She didn't plan on telling Zhou Tong about what happened the previous night, keeping her promise to Jiang Chen. Zhou Tong looked at her skeptically, but didn't push the issue. Miss, during our talk last night, Mr. Jiang implied that he'd agree to whatever you want. Gu Xiao understood immediately, and her brow furrowed slightly. Jiang Chen was willing to break off the engagement, and now Jiang Wenqing shared the same attitude. A wave of frustration washed over her. Shaking off the annoying thoughts, she said, there's no rush. My father arranged the marriage, so if we're going to end it, I want him to do it. Zhou Tong was dumbfounded, unsure how to respond. Prince Gu had clearly stated that Gu Xiao had the final say and that he'd compensate the Jiang family. She had badgered him into agreeing to this before coming. Now, less than a day later, her attitude had completely changed. Zhou Tong swallowed his words. Gu Xiao secretly clenched her fists. The more Jiang Chen acts like this, the less I want to give him what he wants. She quickly found a reason to justify her feelings. Footsteps sounded behind them. Gu Xiao turned to see Jiang Wenqing approaching. He smiled and said, Princess, breakfast is ready. Let's go together. Gu Xiao replied, I know, Uncle Jiang. Just call me Xiao. Princess makes it sound too formal. Jiang Wenqing chuckled, haha. Will do. Under Jiang Wenqing's lead, the trio headed toward the hall. As soon as they entered, Gu Xiao's eyes landed on Jiang Chen, a hint of surprise flickering in her eyes. His face was ruddy, not at all like someone who had been injured. She also noticed that Jiang Chen had already reached the 8th level of the body-forging realm. Seeing Gu Xiao's immediate focus on Jiang Chen, Jiang Daoxin and Jiang Yu exchanged knowing glances, smiles playing at the corners of their mouths. Then, they gave Jiang Chen a meaningful look. Seeing their nonchalant attitude, Jiang Chen's forehead creased. Jiang Wenqing coughed, subtly winking at Jiang Chen, but before Jiang Chen could say anything, Gu Xiao took the initiative to move closer and sit to Jiang Chen's left. Jiang Wenkong and the others couldn't help but smile. Soon, everyone took their seats, and the hall filled with laughter. As the others chatted, Gu Xiao turned to Jiang Chen. Thank you for the pills, she said softly. Jiang Chen smiled faintly. You're welcome. I'm glad they helped. After a lingering look at Jiang Chen, Gu Xiao quickly glanced away. The banquet didn't last long. Afterward, Jiang Wenqing stood up and looked at Jiang Chen. Chener, I have some things to take care of at the shop. You should keep Xiao company. Don't neglect her. Jiang Chen nodded, acknowledging his father's serious tone. Chapter 53 Second Enlightenment, Prisoning Heaven and Locking Earth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The words hung in the air. Jiang Wenqing turned to Gu Xiao. He smiled. Xiao, make yourself at home. If you need anything, just ask Xiaochen. I've already told the housekeeper. Gu Xiao replied, don't worry about me, Uncle Jiang. You can go if you need to. I'll be fine. Having received her response, and after a few more words, Jiang Wenqing left the Jiang family with Jiang Wenkong and the others. Meanwhile, Zhou Tong entered the hall. He approached Gu Xiao and said softly, Princess, the prince received word that you've joined the Xuanqing Sect. My mission here is done. So, I'm heading back today. Please be careful from now on, Princess. Gu Xiao was initially surprised, then she responded, Zhou Buofeng, be safe. I can take care of myself. Tell my father not to worry. Those guys at Xuanqing Sect won't dare to pull anything. Zhou Tong nodded slightly, then he turned to Jiang Chen, who was standing nearby. He said, young friend Jiang, thanks in advance for looking after the princess. Jiang Chen nodded. He replied, Uncle Zhou, it's my pleasure. I'll do everything I can. Jiang Chen kept it brief. Zhou Tong understood his meaning. Jiang Chen's answer was enough. After chatting for a bit, Zhou Tong left Kamikaze City. As the hall emptied, Jiang Daoxin looked at Jiang Yu. Seeing Jiang Daoxin's gaze, Jiang Yu nodded. He slowly rose from his seat. He looked at Jiang Chen and said, Second brother, we'll head out. I still need to teach Daoxin some things. Jiang Chen said, okay, go ahead. A smile appeared on Jiang Daoxin's face. He said softly, Second brother, we'll see you later. Goodbye, princess. Gu Xiao looked at Jiang Daoxin and nodded slightly in response. As Jiang Daoxin left, only Jiang Chen and Gu Xiao remained in the hall. Jiang Chen thought Gu Xiao would ask him to take her out. But what Gu Xiao said next caught him off guard. Gu Xiao said, I'm going back to practice. I improved a lot yesterday, but I still need to stabilize it. Jiang Chen was pleased to hear this. He immediately replied, okay, if you need anything, just have Xiaocui let me know. Okay. After nodding, Gu Xiao left the house. Looking at the empty hall, Jiang Chen began to think, Dragon Elephant Sky-Suppressing Fist can be taught directly, but there's no rush. I can use this time to develop the potential of my double pupils. Back in his room, Jiang Chen closed the door. System, I want to use Epiphany. Ding, the Epiphany is preparing. As the system spoke, Jiang Chen's vision went dark. When he opened his eyes, the environment had changed. The protagonist was still the boy with the double eyes, but this time his opponents were different. His opponents looked bizarre. Some had wings, some were covered in magma. Though these humanoid creatures looked strange, their aura was terrifying. But what surprised Jiang Chen most was that the boy with double eyes fought them off with ease. His stern face was full of pride. For a moment, Jiang Chen realized his position had shifted again. Having experienced this before, Jiang Chen remained calm. This time, Jiang Chen was in the first-person perspective. He joined the battle. Boom! The roaring continued. Jiang Chen felt every move carefully. After a while, the humanoids grew fewer and fewer. The last humanoid creature fell by the man with double eyes. Jiang Chen's vision blurred. He knew he was about to exit the epiphany. Whoosh! When Jiang Chen opened his eyes, his consciousness had returned to his body, and his mind was filled with strange memories, chaining the sky and locking the earth. Wherever you look, you can chain the sky and the earth. This move can imprison the void and block all actions of the opponent. The stronger the strength, the longer it lasts. That's right, in this epiphany, Jiang Chen understood the second secret technique of his double pupils, blocking the enemy's movement. Used with the world-destroying divine light, it could be devastating. Thinking of this, Jiang Chen smiled. Time flew by. The appointed day arrived. The Jiang family escorted Jiang Chen and the others to the meeting place. Xuanhuan looked at Jiang Chen and the others. He smiled, then he said, "Okay, now that everyone's here, let's get going." Xuanhuan took a recorder from his pocket. Soon after, a melodious flute sound echoed. Chirp! As soon as the flute sounded, a cry came from the clouds. Whoosh! A strong wind blew, and a large shadow appeared on the ground. Everyone looked up. A huge black hawk was descending, and the wind was from its wings. Sensing the hawk's violent aura, many newcomers paled. They stepped back. Boom! After circling, the black hawk landed under everyone's gaze. The black hawk grew. As Black Eagle grew, everyone looked on in surprise. When Black Eagle stopped growing, Xuanhuan turned to everyone. He said, "Line up in 2 groups and climb onto Black Eagle's back one by one. We're heading to Xuanqing Sect now." Xuanhuan finished. The others began to move. Though afraid of Black Hawk, they were excited. After all, flying on a Black Eagle was thrilling. Jiang Chen looked at Jiang Wenqing. He said softly, "Father, take care. If you can't solve something, send someone to tell me." Jiang Wenqing replied, "Haha, don't worry. Once you get to Xuanqing Sect, remember not to act rashly. Focus on improving your skills." Jiang Chen said, "I understand, father." Then, Jiang Chen and Gu Xia walked toward Black Eagle. Jiang Yu and the other 2 followed. Chapter 54, Land of Thunderclouds. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not a moment passed, all the new disciples piled onto the back of the Black Eagle. Whoosh, star. Xuanhuan zipped over. He landed gracefully on the eagle's back. "Let's go," he commanded in a deep voice. As soon as he said the words, the Black Eagle rose slowly from the ground, its massive wings spreading wide. Then, with a powerful downstroke, it launched into the air. Thump thump, star. The Black Eagle beat its wings, pulling them further and further from the ground. A strong wind whipped at their faces. Once they reached a certain height, an energy shield flickered into existence around the Black Eagle, cutting off the wind. With the shield up, everyone visibly relaxed. Screech! With a piercing cry, the Black Eagle shot forward. It was incredibly fast. The scenery blurred as they sped through the air, and excitement lit up everyone's faces. Even Jiang Chen looked surprised. He gazed around with open curiosity. Gu Xiao, however, remained composed. Jiang Yu reacted similarly. He simply crossed his legs and began meditating. Jiang Daoxin, ever practical, pulled out some snacks he'd prepared and started munching. Seeing Jiang Yu with his eyes closed, deep in thought, Jiang Daoxin went straight to Jiang Chen. He asked softly, "Hey, second brother, princess, I've got tons of food. Want some?" Jiang Chen replied, "No, you go ahead." Gu Xiao also shook her head, declining Jiang Daoxin's offer. Nearby, a group of people huddled together to the left of Jiang Chen and the others. A man in a fancy robe spotted Gu Xiao and Jiang Chen standing close together, and his face darkened. Seeing the unpleasant look on the brocade-robed man's face, one of his companions immediately tried to suck up to him. He said in a low voice, "Master Su, a beauty like Princess Xiao deserves the best, and that's you. Should I put that kid in his place?" Hearing this, the others chimed in. Yeah, Master Su, you've got the thunder body. Jiang Chen's just a regular guy. Sure, he did pretty well on the tests, but he's not even in your league. The man in the brocade robe's face improved as he listened to the flattery. He finally looked away. He said quietly, no need. I want to win the woman I desire myself. I, Su Tian, wouldn't stoop to such low tactics. Everyone erupted in another round of praise. Master Su's generosity is truly exceptional. Once you join the Xuanqing Sect, you'll rise straight to the top and become an unmatched powerhouse. Totally. No doubt about it. Su Tian finally found a seat and sat down. The truth was, Su Tian was the son of a powerful family. However, they were from outside the Tianlong dynasty. He'd only chosen to join the Xuanqing Sect because he'd learned that the sect contained a forbidden area called Thunder Abyss, which held the very essence of lightning. Su Tian's goal was to find that essence. If he could get his hands on it, his heavenly thunder body would be fully activated, and his power would skyrocket. The thought of that made Su Tian smile, rumble, suddenly, a loud roar grabbed everyone's attention. They looked up. Directly ahead, dark clouds loomed, and lightning flashed within them. The sight sent a shiver of fear through many of the disciples. It was clear that the path through the storm clouds was the one they had to take. Seeing their fear, Xuanhuan spoke calmly. Don't worry, everyone. It's just some harmless lightning. It can't break through the Black Eagle's shield. You're perfectly safe. Xuanhuan's words eased their worries. Across the way, Gu Xiao noticed Jiang Chen's calm demeanor. Why aren't you scared? She asked. Jiang Chen smiled faintly. Didn't Elder Chen say the lightning can't hurt us? What's there to be afraid of? Oh, really? Gu Xiao sounded skeptical, but she then remembered the power he'd shown during the tests. She looked at him with understanding. She didn't know that Jiang Chen had witnessed things far more terrifying during his moment of enlightenment. This little storm wasn't enough to faze him. Buzz, a noise came from behind the Black Hawk. Everyone turned to look. A flying boat was approaching, and Du Qingfeng stood at the bow, his gaze fixed on the Xuanqing Sect disciples. Yun Shishue stood on the deck. Her eyes immediately landed on Jiang Yu and the others, and a coldness entered her expression. She quickly looked away. The flying boat was packed with disciples. They all snuck glances at Yun Shishue, but when they saw Wang Ning beside her, they quickly averted their eyes. At the bow, Du Qingfeng's gaze locked onto Xuanhuan. The sneer crept across his face. Hey, Chen, are things too rough for you? Need a tow? Xuanhuan returned his mocking stare. He replied in a cold voice, no need. Worry about yourself. This is nothing for the Xuanqing Sect. Humph. Du Qingfeng scoffed. He said, is that so? We'll see. With those words, the warship accelerated. It charged straight toward the storm clouds. Xuanhuan watched. He gently patted the Black Eagle's head. The Black Eagle took the signal. It sped toward the dark clouds. Rumble, as they approached. The thunder grew louder, and lightning flashed before their eyes. Even with Xuanhuan's assurance that the lightning was harmless, many disciples felt a surge of fear, and their faces paled. Xuanhuan saw this. He raised his voice. When you set out on the path of cultivation, you commit to battling heaven and earth. The journey will be full of hardship. If you can't even overcome this fear, then what's the point? As cultivators, you must have a fearless heart, so you can walk further. His words sparked deep thought in many of the disciples. Their faces were still pale, but their fear diminished. Xuanhuan's expression softened. Su Tian was in his element. Lightning surged through the clouds. It was all around him. He realized that his cultivation was speeding up. Moreover, as he circulated his energy, Su Tian discovered that he could absorb the power of lightning in the clouds. Chapter 55 Entering Xuanqing Sect and Plundering the Rules. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rain kept pouring from the sky, plunging into the dark clouds. The light dimmed, and everyone's vision was obscured. Boom! Thunder rumbled. The downpour intensified, but the Black Hawk's aura shield kept them dry. After a moment, the fear on everyone's faces faded, and they began to look around. Xuanhuan watched Su Tian with satisfaction. Even though his heavenly thunder body wasn't perfect, he was still a rare talent. Xuanhuan was surprised that Su Tian had chosen Xuanqing Sect. Du Qingfeng, after all, had made a pretty good offer. On the other side, Du Qingfeng noticed Xuanqing's ship, and his smile vanished. Humph. With a cold snort, Du Qingfeng looked away, picked up speed, and headed in the opposite direction. Chirp, that the Black Hawk accelerated sharply, flying away from the warship. Whoosh, that the wind howled in their ears. A short while later, the Black Hawk soared out of the thunderclouds, and sunlight streamed down on them again. The Black Hawk's speed increased, and the landscape blurred into streaks of color. Su Tian slowly opened his eyes. He seemed to savor the experience. Even a little lightning is this effective. If I could get my hands on the source of thunder and lightning, I'd be completely reborn. His eyes shone with excitement. Jiang Chen, his curiosity sated, found a spot and closed his eyes to relax. Time passed, the others quieted down as well, the wind whistling past. Before they knew it, they'd been riding the Black Hawk for half a day. Just when everyone was bored, towering mountain peaks appeared in the distance. Buildings dotted the peaks, connected by winding stone staircases. Ancient trees and mist created an ethereal, paradise-like scene. The sight sparked excitement. Everyone perked up. They stood and gazed. Chirp, that the Black Hawk screeched. Then, it dove rapidly. Jiang Yu finished his training and walked over to Jiang Chen. Boom, that with a loud thud, the Black Hawk landed smoothly on a platform. The newcomers were met by a crowd, all smiling. A murmur of discussion arose. The last group of newbies is here. Don't try to cut in on these recruits. I'm calling dibs on their points. Calling dibs? Think we're just going to let that happen? Besides, they have a one-day grace period. Your dibs is useless. Yeah, you want points, you gotta earn them, not just talk about it. The Black Hawk passengers were confused by the strange remarks. The intense stares added to their bewilderment. Xuanhuan saw the crowd. He shouted, "All right, enough loitering. Go do your chores. Or you'll be spending time at solitary reflection cliff." The crowd's expressions shifted. One of them said, "Elder Chen, we just wanted to welcome our new junior brothers and sisters. Since you put it that way, we'll be going now." "Yeah, we're out of here." They scattered quickly, disappearing in moments. They seemed practiced at it. This obviously wasn't their first rodeo. Once the other disciples were gone, Xuanhuan turned to the group. "Come with me. I'll take you to registration." Everyone quickly hopped off the Black Hawk. As soon as they were clear, the Black Hawk spread its wings, and vanished into the clouds. Xuanhuan said, "All right, follow me." He led them down the trail, toward an attic at the top of the mountain. After a pause, Xuanhuan spoke again. "As new disciples, you'll each start with 100 points on your ID tokens. You'll need points to get resources from the sect." The message was clear. Points were Xuanqing Sect's currency. Jiang Chen paused. "Elder Chen, how do we earn points, and what was that about a grace period?" That the others looked curious. Xuanhuan answered, "Points are earned by completing tasks. As for the grace period, after registration, you'll have a one-day protection period, followed by a one-day plundering period." Xuanhuan's explanation revealed the details. During the protection period, no one could attack them. Once the protection period was over, anyone who hadn't been promoted to core disciple was fair game, with older disciples free to steal points from the newbies. But if the newbies were strong enough, they could counter-plunder. After the plundering period was over, high-level cultivators couldn't rob low-level ones, but low-level cultivators could challenge high-level ones, a sort of reverse protection. The plundering period was a feast. For the older disciples, the newcomers' faces fell. Jiang Chen and Jiang Yu exchanged glances. A smile touched Jiang Chen's lips. He understood the meaning behind Xuanqing Sect's plundering period. It was a harsh lesson about the reality of the spiritual world and the importance of strength. If someone was strong enough, no one would dare to attack them, even during the plundering period. Xuanhuan, seeing their dismay, said nothing and continued to lead the way, his expression indifferent. Everyone wasn't stupid. After a moment, they understood. Their faces remained troubled, but many showed a newfound determination and even anticipation for the plundering period. Soon, Xuanhuan led them into the attic, where they received their identity tokens. Most were assigned as handyman disciples. There weren't many outer disciples, and the inner disciples consisted of Jiang Chen and his siblings, Gu Xiao and Su Tian. Jiang Chen checked his token. The number on it was 500, the outer disciples' tokens had 200. Chapter 56 The First 10 Caves. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, everyone, Xuanhuan said, clearing his throat after the room quieted down. Everyone looked up at him. Someone will show you to your rooms. If you have any questions, just ask. Just then, footsteps approached. A man and a woman walked in. Hello, Elder Chen, they said in unison. All right, Xuanhuan replied, these are your new junior brothers and sisters. Show them around and help them get settled. The two nodded. The man stepped forward. New servant disciples, follow me. I'll take you to your quarters. The servant disciples followed him out. Then, the woman smiled warmly. Come with me. Jiang Chen and the others exchanged glances and followed her out of the hall. After a short walk, she spoke. My name is Zishi, you can call me Senior Sister Z. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to answer them. Su Tian immediately stepped forward, flashing a charming smile. Senior Sister Z, do the outer disciples and inner disciples live in the same area? He kept glancing at Zishi, impressed by her beauty and curves. Zishi smiled. Yes, the outer disciples live in the same area as the inner disciples, but if you want a prime spot, it depends on your own strength. She explained the rules. As outer disciples, they were entitled to their own cave, the location of which determined the concentration of spiritual energy. However, these caves weren't fixed. Anyone could challenge the current occupant and take their place. That's why, Zishi said, the best caves go to the strongest. Since you're new, you get a perk. I'll put you in the top 10 caves. But after the grace period, you're on your own. If someone challenges you, do your best. Everyone was thrilled to hear they'd be in the top 10. Jiang Chen nodded, impressed. Xuanqing's system was clever. Starting the newcomers in the best caves meant that being demoted would be a strong motivator to improve. He found the rule set effective, and wondered why Xuanqing had been weakening in recent years. Seeing Jiang Chen lost in thought, Gu Xiao whispered, "What's wrong?" Jiang Chen shook his head slightly. Just a little distracted. Jiang Daoxin, trailing behind with Jiang Yu, munched on snacks and looked around curiously. After glancing at Jiang Chen, he turned to Jiang Yu. "Brother, the princess is here to break off the engagement with my second brother, but something feels off." Jiang Yu smiled. "You don't want her to end the engagement?" Jiang Daoxin said, "No, that's not what I meant. I'm just curious." Jiang Yu replied, "Relax, trust Brother Chen. He's smart, and he'll be fine." Jiang Daoxin nodded, then smiled. "Actually, I think the second brother and the princess would be a good match. It would be great if they got together." Just then, the group stopped. Zishi turned to face them. "This is Qingyan Peak, where you'll be living. If you're promoted to core disciples, you can get even better caves." She pointed towards a series of caves, each marked with a number. Without hesitation, Zishi led them deeper, where the spiritual energy grew noticeably stronger. Zishi was efficient. She quickly assigned caves to the 6 outer disciples. Gu Xiao received cave number 4. After saying goodbye to Jiang Chen and the others, she went inside. Jiang Chen and his brothers took the first 3 caves. After settling everything, Zishi left. Jiang Chen took his jade talisman and approached cave number 1. As he channeled his energy, the stone door slowly opened, releasing a surge of pure spiritual energy. Jiang Chen stepped inside, surprised. Cave number 1 lives up to the hype. The concentration of spiritual energy is at least 5 times stronger than outside. Practicing here will save a lot of time. Jiang Chen started practicing immediately. As he activated the chaos creation art, spiritual energy rushed towards him, his pores dilated, and he felt a warm sensation all over his body. Chapter 57 Brothers Talk, All Parties Take Action. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A vortex ripped open space beside Jiang Chen, and the cave's spiritual energy funneled into him like a fire hose. After a good, long soak, Jiang Chen felt the 9 cyclones in his body were topped off. Surprisingly, even after all that, the cave's energy levels barely dipped. Meanwhile, everyone else was also cramming in practice time, trying to squeeze every last drop out of their day. Later that night, Jiang Chen sat cross-legged on the stone platform, eyes closed, lost in the fleeting cloud. Swordplay. Inside his mind, he started running simulations. He'd bought the fleeting cloud swordplay with chance points, and it was a top-tier Xian-level technique. Clad in flowing white robes, Jiang Chen's soul wielded a longsword, practicing the moves over and over. Some movements were lightning fast, others languid and slow. On the surface, it looked plain, but the terrifying waves of energy swirling around him hinted at the swordplay's true potential. After about 15 minutes, Jiang Chen exhaled slowly, a look of pure satisfaction on his face. He'd gotten a solid grasp of the key elements of the fleeting cloud swordplay. System transfers really cut out a lot of learning time. After replenishing his spiritual energy, Jiang Chen decided to call it a night. Boom star, the door swung open, and Jiang Chen headed towards room 3. He wasn't out long before he caught the scent of a crowd. He felt their eyes on him. Greed practically radiated off them, and they weren't even trying to hide it. Jiang Chen couldn't help but smirk. The strongest of the inner disciples was only at the peak of the Divine Sea realm. He might have sweated that fight before, but after taking the Xianlong pill, he'd leveled up big time. None of them were a threat now. Basically, among the inner disciples, Jiang Chen was untouchable. In the Xuanqing Sect, breaking through to the creation realm got you promoted to core disciple. The Divine Sea and creation realms might sound close, but the jump was massive. Maybe 10 out of 100 Divine Sea cultivators ever made it to creation. That made every creation realm cultivator a big deal for the sect. A moment later, Jiang Chen arrived at Cave 2, boom star. Before he could knock, Jiang Yu's door slid open. Jiang Chen stepped inside, clunk star. The stone doors sealed shut behind him. As the door closed, muttering filled the air. This Jiang family is something else. 3 geniuses at once. Are they a hidden clan or something? Hidden clan, my foot. They're just a backwater family from Kamikaze City. They don't even have special physiques, so they can't be real geniuses. Yeah, I heard the Jiang brothers were just born with superpowers or something. That's why they're ahead. Not real talent. That made sense to everyone else. Then someone piped up, whatever. I don't care about talent. I care about their points. That's a jackpot. Everyone's eyes lit up at the mention of points. You know, I wonder what a big shot like Princess Xiao is doing at the Xuanqing Sect. Someone immediately jumped in. Doesn't matter. The 6th prince has been chasing her forever. Now that she's here, he's not going to miss this. You better squash those thoughts. You know how the 6th prince gets. The other guy's eyes narrowed, and he shuddered. Getting his composure back, he muttered, easy there, brother Long. I wouldn't do anything stupid. Alright, let's get out of here. Too many eyes on them. Let's strategize. Then the group slipped back into the shadows. Inside the cave, Jiang Chen and Jiang Yu sat facing each other. A pot of tea steamed between them. Jiang Chen noticed his brother had broken through to the first level of the Divine Sea realm, and his azure dragon body was already 20% unlocked. Jiang Yu looked at Jiang Chen and said, "You came all the way to see me this late. Something up?" Jiang Chen shook his head. Nothing big. Just wanted to hear your plans, big brother. Jiang Yu immediately picked up on what he meant. He smiled faintly. You're asking about the right to plunder, right? Jiang Chen nodded. Honestly, if Jiang Yu hadn't acted up last time, he wouldn't have bothered. Ahem. Jiang Yu coughed, looking a little sheepish under Jiang Chen's gaze. Pulling himself together, he said, fight where you can win. That's my policy. That told Jiang Chen everything he needed to know. Just as Jiang Chen was thinking, Jiang Yu said, Chen, I bet you're a lot stronger than the 8th level of the body forging realm, aren't you? Jiang Yu grinned. Jiang Chen was slightly taken aback, then returned the smile. I guess I can't hide anything from you, big brother. He wasn't surprised that Jiang Yu could see through him. After all, Jiang Yu had an emperor's soul fragment inside him, plus, he'd taught Jiang Yu how to mask his strength. It wasn't that hard to put 2 and 2 together. Jiang Yu nodded, satisfied. The cave fell silent. The two brothers exchanged a knowing look. Smiles bloomed on their faces. The brothers talked for hours. At midnight, Jiang Chen left Jiang Yu's cave. Boom star. As he left, the cave fell silent again. Jiang Yu didn't resume practicing. He murmured, the Xuanqing Sect is just the start. From now on, the 3 of us will stand tall at the top of the 9 heavens. His eyes flashed with ambition. The night passed like that, with the protection period still running. No one bothered Jiang Chen or his brothers. As time ticked by, more and more people gathered outside the caves. Eventually, Jiang Chen and the others stopped practicing. They decided to head outside. Chapter 58 Major Guild Selecting People. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at the crowd outside, Jiang Chen's face remained impassive. He scanned them with a detached gaze. The others followed him out of the cave. Nearby, Jiang Yu led Jiang Daoxin toward Jiang Chen, and Gu Xiao joined them. When the crowd saw Gu Xiao, their eyes lit up with desire, but no one dared to approach her. However, they cast glances at Jiang Chen, a hint of anticipation in their eyes, whispering among themselves. The relationship between Princess Xiao and the Jiang family seems complicated. The 6th prince will be back soon. He won't be happy when he hears about this. Yeah, the exploration's over. Luckily, all the big shots already went through. Today's our chance to grab some advantage. Several people nodded in agreement. Then, a beefy guy stepped forward, booming, all right everyone, let's get this sorted out to avoid any conflicts later. The Shanghai Society only needs 1 inner disciple's points. You can split up the rest. Sounds fair enough. Someone immediately retorted, fair. In that case, the Tianyun Club will also take 1 inner sect disciple's points, and you can divvy up the leftovers. The Xuanhuan Association wants 1 too. In no time, everyone had staked their claims. Tellingly, no one dared to target Gu Xiao. Seeing this, Su Tian and the others looked worried. Their original plan had been to find a quiet spot to avoid trouble, but these guys had blocked the exit, leaving them no room to maneuver. Assessing their strength, Su Tian saw no way they could win. Meanwhile, Jiang Daoxin, unfazed by the crowd, started munching on some food right there. Gu Xiao eyed Jiang Daoxin, puzzled. He seemed to be always eating or about to eat. What she didn't understand was how he could eat so much meat and lose weight instead of gaining it. And he never seemed to get enough. Catching Gu Xiao's gaze, Jiang Daoxin grinned sheepishly. Princess, want some? I brought plenty. Gu Xiao shook her head. You go ahead. I'm not hungry. Jiang Daoxin didn't press her. After a quick acknowledgement, he went back to his meal. Gu Xiao glanced at the eager faces around her and frowned slightly. But then she remembered Jiang Chen's incredible power, and relaxed, a hint of pity in her eyes as she looked at the crowd. A faint smile played on her lips. She surveyed the group, noting that the strongest among them was only at the 6th level of the Divine Sea Realm, nowhere near the strength of that black-robed guy from before. Just then, the bald guy stepped forward, fixing his gaze on Su Tian. Kid, I've seen your file. Join the Billuo Club, and I'll let you keep 200 points. Take it or leave it, not everyone gets this opportunity. Su Tian's face brightened. 200 was better than nothing. Besides, he knew the Billuo Society was one of the best in the Xuanqing Sect, led by a top-tier core disciple. After a moment's hesitation, Su Tian turned to the bald guy. I'm in. I'll join the Billuo Society. The bald guy smirked. Smart move. You'll be glad you did. Su Tian didn't waste any time. He walked over to the bald guy, and under everyone's watchful eyes, they touched their tokens together. Su Tian's points changed to 200, the others looked on, their eyes shifting, and they quickly spoke up. "We want to join too. Can we keep some points?" The bald guy chuckled. "Sure, but outer disciples only get to keep 50. Without hesitation, the remaining crowd agreed. Jiang Chen frowned. It seemed the sect's incentive system was a joke. This felt like a market, the whole thing was ruined, the protection period hadn't even expired yet, but this so-called plundering period had already started. However, Su Tian and the others noticed something. The burly man and his group seemed uninterested in recruiting Jiang Chen and his friends. Realizing this, Su Tian and his group settled back to watch the drama. As time ticked by, the smile on the burly man's face grew wider. Tap, tap, tap. The protection period just ended. The bald man couldn't wait any longer and strode forward. He turned his attention to Jiang Chen, a sinister grin spreading across his face. "Kid, I heard you're top of your class back in Kamikaze City. Some kind of rare genius. Too bad for you. Lu Biao, love beating up geniuses. So, are you going to hand over your points now, or do I have to take them?" As he spoke, Lu Biao's aura intensified, his eyes filled with arrogance. The others held back, content to watch Lu Biao make the first move. Su Tian watched with undisguised glee. "Steal my young master's thunder, will you? You'll get what's coming to you." He glanced at Gu Xiao, a flicker of desire in his eyes, quickly suppressed as Lu Biao finished his taunt. Jiang Chen slowly raised his head to meet his gaze. "I have a habit of not giving back what I've earned." "Ha ha ha." Lu Biao burst into laughter. "Plenty of people have been as cocky as you, but they've all learned humility after I taught them a lesson. I hope you can hold on to that pride of yours. Don't disappoint me too much." With that, Lu Biao's aura exploded around him. Chapter 59. Everyone is shocked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Lu Biao finally make his move, the others were even more curious about what would happen. Despite sensing Lu Biao's power at the 5th level of the Divine Sea Realm, Jiang Chen remained cool and unfazed. Lu Biao clearly took Jiang Chen's attitude as an insult, and his face darkened. "Jiang Chen, you can't back down now. Hand over the token, and I'll make it easier on you." Everyone watched Jiang Chen, wondering what he would do. Jiang Yu turned to Jiang Chen and whispered, "Want me to handle this?" He looked supremely confident. Jiang Chen shook his head slightly. "Nah, I got this." He stepped forward. Everyone had overheard their exchange. "What a cocky kid." Someone scoffed. "Lu Biao's at the 5th level of the Sea of Gods, and he's only at the 8th level of body refining. How can he be so arrogant? Yeah, he's clueless. Thinks he's hot stuff just because he's had a little success. He's in for a rude awakening." Lu Biao's face grew even darker. "Fine, very fine. Jiang Chen, you're the first newbie who's dared to piss me off like this. Let's see what you've got." He slowly advanced toward Jiang Chen, his aura growing with each step. Suddenly, Lu Biao darted forward. He threw a punch aimed at Jiang Chen's chest. Although he was angry, Lu Biao held back a little. The sect allowed point plundering, but fatalities were a whole different ball game. But then something shocking happened. Everyone around stared in disbelief. As Lu Biao's fist came at him, Jiang Chen casually raised his palm and caught it. Gasps rippled through the crowd. How is that possible? He caught it. Jiang Chen actually caught Lu Biao's attack. What the heck? When did body refining become so powerful? Wait. Jiang Chen's not just body refining. He's at the Sea of Gods level. All eyes widened, Su Tian's expression tightened, and his fists clenched. Lu Biao's face registered astonishment. His eyes narrowed. You. But before he could finish, Jiang Chen threw his other fist, striking with lightning speed. Damn! Lu Biao thought, feeling the intense wind from the punch. He quickly raised his arm to block it, barely managing to deflect the blow. But as their arms collided, Lu Biao winced, a muffled groan escaping his lips. He stumbled back dozens of steps, a trickle of blood running from the corner of his mouth. Whoa! A wave of noise erupted, the other union leaders took a step forward, their faces now serious. Lu Biao was considered one of the top 3 strongest among them, yet, after only 2 exchanges, Jiang Chen had already injured him. Regaining his footing, Lu Biao glared at Jiang Chen. He was shocked that Jiang Chen had reached the first level of the Divine Sea Realm, but he could almost accept it. What he couldn't accept was that he, at the 5th level, had been injured by someone in the blink of an eye. Of course, Jiang Chen was intentionally holding back, only revealing the first level of the Divine Sea Realm. After all, revealing the 4th level right away would be too big of a jump and would likely draw unwanted attention. Jiang Yu watched, a satisfied look on his face. Jiang Daoxin also stopped what he was doing, looking delighted. He turned to Jiang Yu beside him, excited. Bro, second brother is incredible. He reached the Sea of Gods in just a few days. Jiang Yu smiled. Just do as I say, and you'll be at the Sea of Gods in no time too. Jiang Daoxin nodded eagerly. Meanwhile, Jiang Chen glanced at Lu Biao and slowly approached him. Lu Biao's face tightened. He subconsciously took a step back, realizing his reaction. Lu Biao looked embarrassed. He'd been in the Xuanqing Sect for 2 years, and now he was being intimidated by a newbie. If he didn't regain his ground today, the Xinghai Society's reputation would be ruined, and he'd become a laughingstock. A ruthless look hardened Lu Biao's face. He roared, "Damn it! Stop looking down on me!" He charged at Jiang Chen again. Now knowing that Jiang Chen was no pushover, Lu Biao held nothing back, unleashing the full force of the 5th level of the Divine Sea Realm. His black hair whipped in the wind. He stomped down, lunging toward Jiang Chen, roaring, "Stone fist!" As he yelled, a layer of light yellow energy enveloped his fist. The skin on his hands turned bronze. Everyone gasped at the transformation. It's the Huang-level low-grade martial art, Stone Fist. Lu Biao's got a deep understanding of this technique. He's close to mastering it. I didn't expect Lu Biao to go straight for this. He's serious now. But facing Lu Biao's attack, Jiang Chen didn't retreat. He moved forward, accelerating his pace. He also raised his arm to meet Lu Biao's fist head-on. Seeing that Jiang Chen was planning to clash directly, a hint of joy flickered across Lu Biao's face. In an instant, their fists collided. A terrifying shockwave blasted outward in all directions. Chapter 60 Long Aotian's Kindness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the clash, they were deadlocked. Crack, crack. A faint sound reached everyone's ears. The onlookers immediately grinned, all eyes on Jiang Chen. It was the sound of breaking bones. And given the situation, it had to be Jiang Chen. After all, Lu Biao used martial arts. Jiang Chen didn't, and he was lower in cultivation. No one thought Jiang Chen stood a chance. Ahem. But then, Lu Biao coughed, his face pale, sweat pouring down his forehead. His arms slowly dropped, his body trembling slightly. He looked up at Jiang Chen, horror in his eyes. Your body. The others watched, their eyes narrowing. Silence fell. Jiang Chen glanced at Lu Biao. Are you handing over the points, or am I taking them? Lu Biao struggled to look up, his face a mask of ugliness. He hesitated. Jiang Chen, play it smart, Lu Biao said, his voice deep. I'm with the Xinghai Society. Offending me won't do you any good. How about we call it even? Pretend this never happened. What do you say? He waited for Jiang Chen's reaction. The onlookers were stunned that Lu Biao was giving in. Su Tian watched, disbelief written all over his face. He glanced at Gu Xiao, noticing her eyes were glued to Jiang Chen. His fists clenched. Jiang Chen didn't react to Lu Biao's threat. Whoosh, star. Just when Lu Biao thought Jiang Chen would agree, Jiang Chen snatched the token from his waist. Lu Biao's expression changed. But he was too close, too injured. He couldn't react in time. Jiang Chen grabbed the token. He frowned, looking at it. You're broke. The token only contained a little over 300 points. Lu Biao's face stiffened. Jiang Chen, every little bit counts, I guess. He transferred the points to his own token. Thwack, star. Jiang Chen tossed the token back. Lu Biao stared at the token, his face twisted. He looked up at Jiang Chen, gritting his teeth. Fine. Lu Biao, will remember this. This isn't over. He grabbed the token, clutching his injured arm, and turned and stormed off. The rest of the Xinghai society followed him out. There was no reason for them to stay. Silence fell over the crowd. Jiang Chen looked around. Anyone else want my points? No one spoke. The bald guy stepped forward. He glanced at Jiang Yu and the others, then at Jiang Chen. Reluctance lingered in his eyes. He hesitated. I didn't expect a genius like you among the freshmen, the bald guy said. I'll pass on plundering your destiny this time. He turned to Su Tian and the others. Let's go. Su Tian glanced at Jiang Chen, then turned and left with the bald guy. The other unions followed them out, leaving the newly recruited disciples behind. Jiang Chen didn't try to stop them. The crowd dispersed. A man walked towards Jiang Chen, a faint smile on his face. He reached Jiang Chen. Hey, Jiang, I'm Aotian. You thinking of joining a guild? O**. Jiang Chen was surprised. He shook his head. Thanks, Long, but I'm not really looking to join a guild right now. Aotian's smile faded slightly, but he kept smiling. Alright, no problem. If you ever change your mind, think about the Xian Club. Jiang Chen smiled back. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Jiang Yu and the others approached Aotian, friendly as could be, introduced himself to the three of them. After a short conversation, Aotian's smile faded a bit. He looked at Jiang Chen. Jiang, you pissed off Lu Biao today, he said seriously. He won't let it go. He'll definitely try to make trouble for you later. Watch yourself. Jiang Chen nodded. Thanks for the heads up. I will. Aotian didn't like Jiang Chen's casual attitude. Aotian, don't underestimate him. There are some real tough guys in the Xinghai society. Lu Biao is just mid-tier, at best. The secret realm exploration should be wrapping up soon. It won't be long before the big guns from the Xinghai society get back to campus. You need to watch out for them. Jiang Chen's expression finally turned serious. Aotian seemed satisfied. Aotian, you might want to use your points to buy some training resources before they get back. Jiang Chen, thanks. I appreciate the advice. Aotian smiled brighter. Jiang Chen knew that Aotian was trying to help him. Cashing in the points beforehand could definitely avoid a lot of trouble.